Hello, hello. This is my first live podcast. Welcome to Scale Your Mastery. My name is Tracy D. Malone, and I am your host today. Thank you so much for joining. And if you're not joining and watching the replay, please drop in the comments where you are streaming from. It's great to have you here. Yesterday, there were technical challenges, and I thank God that today we have finally lifted off. So let's get right into it. Um, let's see. I want to give you a quick preview of what's happening here at this brand new podcast, Scale Your Mastery. Are you ready to scale your business? We believe here that you should scale your mastery before you scale your business. And this is where I see a lot of entrepreneurs go wrong. And you hear about them sometimes in the news, or you hear about them sometimes on social media because they will out themselves. They'll say things like, I was doing my business this way, but then I realized I built a business that I didn't like, right? I've seen those posts, you've seen those posts. Um, there's it's happening all the time. But what if before we scale and took that big step, what if we went inside and did a little introspect? What if we examine ourselves to see, are we on the right path? What if we checked in with our future self to see, are we really on the right path? Are we making the right decisions at the right time? And are we in the right position? So that's my goal here at Scale Your Mastery podcast. And let's see, what else can I tell you? I want to introduce you to people who are inspiring individuals who have scaled their mastery and achieved remarkable success. And so, my question for you is, are you choosing your passion over your purpose? And which one do you believe is going to bring you greater fulfillment? So you may be thinking, well, I don't care about being fulfilled. I just want money. I just want to make it big. I just want to be rich and famous. Well, guess what? I'm here to tell you, I've seen those headlines too. There are a lot of people who have a lot of money and they are miserable. Money is not going to make you happy. What will make you happy is the things that you can do with the money. Okay. Once you get it. So do your own research, Google if you don't believe, ask Chat GPT, whatever you want to do. There are a lot of biographies and books out there, audios, and everything else that will tell you what I'm saying. I am a person who loves wisdom. So I learn from other people and I learn from the Word of God. So I'm just going to leave that question with you. I want you to put that in the back of your mind and consider that as you go about the rest of the week or the rest of the month, the rest of the year. Are you choosing your passion over your purpose? Okay. Um, so I wanted to give you really quick recap of some of what we discussed yesterday. I was here and there were some technical difficulties, but the good news is I did record it. So I recorded it on my cell phone. I just have to get it uploaded with some minor editing. There was a glitch. It was about maybe a 35, 40-minute segment. And there was a glitch where I'm talking to, the camera on the cell phone, and at about the 10-minute mark, it just shut off. I didn't know what happened. So I had to restart another video on my phone. And so I basically have to splice those together. That's all the editing I'm doing. I might give you a little on-screen caption of something that happened, during the episode. But other than that, it's going to be real. It's going to be straight to the point, and it's going to be very little editing. Just want you to know that's the style I'm going for. I'm not going for highly edited videos. I heard that that's out, and I like to stay in the what's now mode. So yeah, yesterday, what I did talk about was stop missing out. So basically, are you getting paid for the work that you do, or are you getting paid for the outcome that you provide? That's one of the things I mentioned. Now, I do have a post about that on LinkedIn. And let me just say this, if this is a subject matter that you want to dive deeper into, please, by all means, go ahead and join my community on LinkedIn. So on LinkedIn, that's the first platform that I decided to master. Okay. I did master LinkedIn. I'm there, for me, it's more quality over quantity. And I'll get more into that as time goes on. But that's one thing you'll find out about mastery. Mastery is about quality, not quantity. That's my mindset. I know that there's some people that would disagree with that. That's fine. That's not where I am in life right now. That's not really my MO. Um, that's just not me. So do what's best for you. But basically, I want to say that I want you to connect with me over there. If you don't want to send a connection request, if you want to follow instead, that's fine. I would just like for you to engage in the conversation if this is something of interest to you. So just consider that. And oh, one warning, advance warning. Yes, I say thank you in a comment, and I say you're welcome in the comment. I use manners on social media. I think that it would be a kinder place, social media, if we all use manners. So if that offends you, oh, she's in my notifications just because she said thank you. I'm sorry, that's not me. I don't put the notification there. The algorithm does that. So just know that up front. Some people are offended that they get notifications of such little consequence. So I just want you to know that's what's happening. Because why? I believe in that, and it's a form of support. People need acknowledgement. If you did something, you would want somebody to say thank you or what have you. So, yeah, I do that. Another thing we talked about yesterday was someone almost sabotaging my business, and then I avoided it. I did a post about that. Check it out. Also, are you trying to replicate someone else's success without knowing their secret sauce? Now, think about that. If that's you, I want you to really consider, is that the road you want to go down? And is that going to give you longevity? Is that going to give you longevity? There's a lot of uncertainty in the world that we live in the marketplace, especially entrepreneurship, social media, algorithms changing every second, all of that. Is that the road you want to go down? Do you want to try to replicate someone else's success without knowing their secret sauce? If you're doing that, I encourage you to check out that post because there was a lot of engagement. And one of my connections, Everil, and she made a really good point about that. So I would encourage you to check that out. I think that pretty much sums up yesterday and what happened. So let's get into our topic today. Again, if you're joining for the first time, this is my first live broadcast for my new podcast, which is Scale Your Mastery. Scale Your Mastery. That's what we're talking about here. And remember, I already asked the question. I want you to consider that. And if you haven't done so, you may want to get out pen and paper and take some notes because my goal is to give you some value to be a thought leader and give you something to think about that you never considered before. That's my goal for you. So, the question was, are you choosing passion over purpose? And I would say A, you're choosing passion, or B, you're choosing purpose. And if you responded A, chances are you're missing out on greater fulfillment. But you have to decide. You've got to make decisions. So, the first topic I want to discuss today, let me keep track of my time. I'm already 16 minutes in. Well, not exactly yet because I didn't start at exactly at 9 o'clock. But my goal is to be about 30 to 40 minutes, just FYI. At least, at least these first several. I just want to be 30 to 40 minutes, okay? And it will get longer um, as time moves on and I start having guests. It will get longer, but for now, it's going to be 30 to 40 minutes. So my question, or this is the thing I want you to think about. Entrepreneurs, if you're out there, you're an entrepreneur, consider this. Don't scale your business. Scale your mastery first, then your business. Why? Because I have yet to meet with an entrepreneur or a business owner who has not fully tapped into what's currently available to them. Every single one, every individual. I have not met with anyone yet who has not fully tapped into what's currently available to them. Think about that. Not a single one. Every single one that I meet, I can see that they have not fully tapped into what's currently available to them. And I'm sure that most of them would say, if you ask them, do you want more clients? Sure, they do. Yeah, they will all say yes. But at the same time, they have not fully tapped into what's currently available to them. So I want you to think about that. And here's some other things to consider. Many business owners are striving to scale their business, and often it's at a cost. It's at a cost of overworking, it's at a cost of burnout, it's at a cost of creating health challenges like, restlessness, sleepiness, anxiety, things like that. It's at a cost of working in isolation and turning down event invitations to be with friends, family, loved ones, whatever, partners, whatever. It's at the expense of all of that for your business, thinking, I need to do work, 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 work in order to move forward. So, what if there's a better way? What if you scale your mastery before you scaled your business? So, here's the thing, by honing your unique skills and expertise, you build a solid foundation for sustainable growth. So, this means that you will less likely find yourself in a situation where you get to that one day and say, you know what? I hate this business. Why did I do this to myself? It's not it's not representative of who I am. It doesn't give me the time I need with friends and family. I hate my life. You're a millionaire or soon to be, but you hate your life. That's what's happening when people scale their business without scaling their mastery. So when you scale your mastery, chances are very good that you will end up in a place where you are doing something related to not your passion, but your purpose. Purpose driven work, a purpose driven life. What about that? What if that was available to you? But because you never took the opportunity to explore it, you never got a chance to experience it. That is the difference. So, one that I can think of, there's a very famous example of this that I can think of. It's I'm sorry, I don't know the name. You have to Google it. It's a woman who she created this blowout bar, blow dry bar. I think it's called the blow dry bar. Basically, it's a shop for women's hair where you can stop in if you had a hot date or a picture, a photograph session, video session, something hot that you wanted to look really great for, and you needed your hair to match the energy that you were bringing to that event. Okay. So she created this blow dry bar, and long story short, it blew up. I mean, it was massive success. It was, it'll blow your mind type of success that'll have you saying, did I just do that? Yeah, you just did that. So it was that type of success. And here's the thing, it got to the point where she was a millionaire, hated her life. She had a young teenage son at the time, and he was having some issues, and she wanted to be there for him. And she realized that with the business that she built, she wasn't there for her son. And in her reflection, she realized she needed to sell her business in order to save her son and her family and her future. That's what's at stake when you scale your business and you are not fully tapping into your mastery. One thing about your mastery that I can say for sure, based on my personal experience and what I've seen happen for other people who I see that are leaning into their mastery, your mastery will lead you to your purpose in life. And you are here for a reason. If you're still breathing, you're here still for a reason. You have a purpose. And when you discover what that purpose is, I truly believe a whole new way of being and living opens up for you. That's what's, I think a lot of people are missing that in our world today. I think a lot of people don't know what their purpose is. I can't say I knew what my purpose was. I'm a business consultant now. I can't say I ever knew that 30 years ago. But what I did know is I knew what I was curious about. I knew what excited me. I knew what piqued my interest. And I knew at each step of this process to get here, I knew that I was leaning into the next thing. That's what's important. You don't have to know the end standing at the beginning. You just need to take the next step. And that's something that I heard Oprah Winfrey talk about. I heard her say that she just knew the next step would be the right step. It was a point where she said she was fired from her first broadcasting jobs, and she thought about, what am I going to do next? And she said, well, my goal is to be in front of the camera. So that makes the decision easy. If the opportunity comes in front of me to get in front of the camera, that's the opportunity I take next. And she said it was very clear. Then that opportunity showed up for her to be in front of the camera, and it was the trial run for the Oprah Winfrey Show. That's what happened. So you can read about her bio or you can watch videos. But in short, that's the story. So that's how it comes about. I want you to consider that. So let's move on. Let's see. It's I've got about 5 to 10 minutes. You try to wrap this up. Okay, so the next thing I want to discuss is the more you leverage your mastery, the quicker people will seek you out. So you heard of attraction marketing? Maybe you've heard of that. You can Google that too. But attraction marketing is really cool because what that does is it works for you 24/7. You could be sleeping, you could be on the beach, you could be in another country. It doesn't matter where you are. The attraction marketing will bring people to you. And not just people, but also opportunities. That part I love. I love the fact that opportunities will come your way if you have attraction marketing set up. So, the best attraction marketing that I can think of that's free is anything related to your mastery. It is magnificent that you could use your mastery to attract opportunities to you. I'm telling you, that is the best So it's happened with me. I've been able to do that. So I'll wake up and, do whatever, then eventually check my email or check, DMs on LinkedIn. And guess what? I'll have an invitation, someone reaching out to me saying, we think you should speak at this event. We would love for you to speak at this event. We want you to be a part of this speaker event. And I'm like, whoa, that is totally incredible. So, attracting opportunities to you is what's possible when you amplify your mastery. You put yourself out there, right? When you put yourself out there and you being your unique self. And here's the thing, wait, I want to tell you something really, really cool. Let me see if I have it here. Just a moment. Ooh, I want to share something with you. Okay. So I don't think I included this, but if you bear with me, I want to go over to, yeah, let me do it here. Here it is. I want to share this with you is that what is mastery? Okay, I want to talk about that for a moment. What is mastery? Well, according to Oxford, mastery is comprehensive knowledge or skill in a subject or accomplishment. That's mastery, according to Oxford. According to Merriam Webster, mastery is possession or display of great skill or technique. Now, let me give you my definition of mastery. Mastery is the ability to execute a physical or mental activity at a high level while allowing your true personality to shine through. Isn't that wonderful? You can immediately think of people, right, that come to mind. I know for me, of course, Oprah comes to mind, Michael Jordan, Beyonce, all of those people come to mind because they have allowed their mastery to engage with their personality and they allow it to shine through. So Michael, I mean, phenomenal, right? One of the greatest athletes ever. So what I would love to see is when he would shoot the ball and score, or even like on the way up to, being in the air, because he was famous for flying through the air. What I loved is seeing him wag his tongue out. It was he would he would really instigate the other players, and it was really great. That's all just part of his personality. And yeah, so I just wanted to mention that to you. I think that is so, so cool. As a matter of fact, I did a post about that the other day as well. And let's see, which post was it? I think it was the post title, The More You Leverage Your Mastery, the Quicker People Will Seek You Out. I think it was that one. So check that one for the definition. But there was a really, really cool comment that Marie, she's one of my connections on LinkedIn, that she made. And I just love it so much because it's more proof that I'm leaning into my mastery. She said, your definition of mastery is iconic. I just love that. It's always refreshing and rewarding to get affirmation when you're along your journey of mastery. It's always great to get feedback when you're on that journey. Okay, so we've got another maybe 5 minutes or so. Oh, let me tell you this story. Yeah, let me tell you this story. So I'll just say this to you, maybe wonder, well, who in the heck are you and why should I even care about you, what you have to say, and why am I even listen? Why should I listen to you? So let me just say this 20 plus years prior to becoming a business consultant, I single handedly solved a problem for L'Oreal Soft Sheen that allowed the the acquisition of Soft Sheen by L'Oreal. And Crane Chicago Business said it was estimated the deal because it's private information, but it was estimated. Excuse me. It was estimated that that deal was worth $370 million street value. That's what I found out by reading the Crane Chicago Business article. And it was said that at that time, that amount was only approximately one fourth of the actual value of soft sheen. That's right. So I single handedly solved that problem. It was an IBM proprietary database that had a problem. This means IBM made it, and this means IBM could not solve the problem. They did a talent search and they found me as a result of the talent search. And I came in with certainty that I could solve the problem. One of my one of the things that I have mastered is asking the right questions. And if you don't have someone like me on your team, I'm telling you, this is the day and age where you need someone on your team who's going to ask the right questions. Okay? As a matter of fact, I'll share this. One of the things I often hear people say, like when I show up for meetings and there's a discussion, at the end, or they ask if someone has questions. Generally speaking, I always have a question, and usually it's more than one. One of the things I hear people say often, that's a great question. Glad you asked. That's a great question, Tracy. That's the thing I hear the most. Okay, so back to the story. IBM made this proprietary software, and yet they couldn't solve their own problem. Think about that. Here I am, someone from the outside. I don't have a master's degree in IT. I don't have I don't have a bachelor's degree. I don't have any of that. And I'm sure the people who created this problem had those degrees. So I didn't even have the title of someone who could solve that problem. So they hired me on at SoftSheen, and my title at the time was database administrator. That was a fancy title they gave me. Not fancy, right? That was the title they gave me. And I solved that problem instantly. So what needed to happen is they had to fly me to New York to Poughkeepsie, where IBM's group was for the product was called Supercell. This was back in the day. This was back in the late 80s. This is back in the day. So wait a minute, was it 90s? I lost track. Anyway, um, I went there and I met the team. It was maybe about 5 or 6 people, and asked some questions. They showed me the database. I asked some questions, took a look, got an understanding, got a really good grasp of what was happening and what was not happening. Because see, here's the thing. At the time, like the job that I had prior to that, I was actually teaching the entire Microsoft suite of products, all the way Access database, the whole entire suite of Microsoft products. I was a I was an instructor. And so I was teaching all of that all the way through advanced level. Microsoft Excel, all of that through advanced level. And at the time where I exited that position to go to the position at SoftSheen, I was about my next step in that position for trainer, software instructor, was to start learning like Visual Basic and things like that, where I can do programming inside of Microsoft Access and Excel, VB lookups and stuff. But yeah, that was going to be my next step. But I didn't go to the next step. I left and went to soft sheen for a better position. So I'm saying all of this to say that your mastery is the thing that will get you to your next level. But you've got to lean in to wherever you are right now. You've got to lean into that because that will take you to the next level. And you will know what the next step is. After you've completed one level of mastery, you got to keep going. It doesn't end. Mastery is the gift that keeps giving. It's beautiful. It's the gift that keeps giving. When you show up for your mastery will show up for you. I've never said that before, but it's phenomenal. The opportunities that open up, the people who are attracted to you, and you start getting appreciated for you. You start getting appreciated for what you bring to the table. Wouldn't that be nice? You appreciate it instead of being dismissed, right? And another great thing is that your competence breeds confidence. I love it. Your competence breeds confidence. So here's another thing. Let me finish this. That's how I solved the problem at L'Oreal. And I say you may have seen in my headline at some point, a $370 million problem solver. But you can go and read. I did an article about that. You can read more about that story over there on LinkedIn. But I do want to share this, and then I'm going to close this out. I left the soft sheen position and decided my next step would be leaning into something else that I loved at the time, which was anything dealing with homes, looking at the houses, designing houses, decorating houses, all of that. All of that was of interest to me at that time. So I leaned into a career as a realtor. So I went to Caldwell Banker, and guess what? My mastery showed up again. This time, different career and a different level. So the mastery this time opened up the opportunity for me to become an award winning entrepreneur. That was the first time. So I got the Rookie of the Year award at Caldwell Banker, and that's one of my awards that I received. So if you see a headline I had 2X, 3X award winning entrepreneur, that's one of the awards. So now imagine I had no affiliation whatsoever with anybody buying and selling a house except for the one time when I did it prior to me taking the exam to be a realtor. That was it. I didn't grow up in a family where people were buying and selling houses. I grew up in a family where people owned homes, grandparents and parents and, relatives owned homes, but they didn't sell the houses. So I had no idea how that worked. They would buy a house and they would stay there, and then they would pass it on to the next generation and on and on. But they didn't sell the houses. Totally different. So I had gone through that experience one time myself, and I said, you know what? I want to be there for other people who go through this because my process was terrible, and I had to fire my realtor, and I ended up representing myself, and it ended up phenomenal. I put in the work, I did the research, I got the understanding and the comprehension, and then I was able to apply it. All of this was happening for the first time, and it turned out phenomenal. And so that inspired me to say, you know what? That's what I want to do next. So I leaned into another level, a layer of my mastery, and it was real estate, residential real estate at one of the top companies, like Caldwell Banker. I believe they're Fortune 500, one of the top companies. in the world for real estate. I ended up there and I ended up the rookie of the year. And that was no small feat. So this was back in 2000. I think I was studying for my exam, broke real estate exam in 99, like October or something. And I believe that following January, I had already selected call a banker to hold my license. Okay. So that first year, I sold more than anybody else who was also starting in real estate for the first time. And there were the market was hot then. Like there were droves of people coming into real estate as a career. I believe at that time it might have been like 1.4 million realtors that were registered at National Association of Realtor, NAR. There were about 1.4 million. It's the first organization to implement ethics, the first ever professional organization to implement ethics was in real estate, and it was NAR. So that's just to give you an idea. But here's the thing, you have to continuously hone your mastery because if you don't, you will begin to retreat. Okay? You will begin to retreat if you do not continuously hone your mastery. You must stay diligent in it. You must continuously move forward. And I want you to consider this is not about a growth mindset. This is you you're growing, period. Everything is in motion. Whether you choose or decide to grow is one thing, but the fact will remain. Even if you decide you're not growing, guess what? You're still growing because nothing remains the same. And the law of energy is that everything is always in motion. It's either moving forward or it's either moving backwards, but it's always in motion. Nothing is still. Nothing, nothing around you is still. It looks still to your naked eye, but it's never still. It's always in motion. So you have to decide, are you going to move forward? Or are you going to move backwards? If you say to yourself, I don't want to grow anymore, I just want to do, I just want to play with my grandkids. I don't want to participate in that anymore. I just want to sit here, remain still, and play with my grandkids. Well, guess what? Your grandkids are moving forward. You, you're not staying still. You think you are, but you're moving forward too, but you're going backwards because you're not deciding to move forward. You're not engaging with the movement of life. So I'm going to close this out. I do want to leave you with this. I do want to leave you with something today. Okay, so I asked you the question early on, are you choosing your passion over your purpose? That was a question I asked you earlier. So I want to leave you with this. Your purpose is what you were born to do. Your passion is what you want to do. And they're not always the same. So I want to leave you with this thought. Once you know a thing, you cannot unknow it. So if you had at least one takeaway today, it means that you've changed. Because once you know a thing, you cannot unknow it. One of my favorite quotes of all times is by Oliver Wendell Holmes. He says, one's mind, once stretched by a new idea, never regains its original dimensions. Your brain is always creating new pathways. The more you learn, the more pathways. And the more pathways, the more you have the ability to tap into your mastery. And the more you tap into that mastery, other mastery opportunities will be opened up for you. Mastery is the gift that keeps on giving. So I'm signing off for today. This is Tracy Malone, and thank you for being a part of the Scale Your Mastery podcast. See you next time.